Very independent women's forum expert on all these things, Hadley Heath Manning. Hadley, if it is in the end that the Crown Prince is likely to stay and certainly not be punished, then what?
Well, certainly this story has been riveting and fascinating and horrific, some of the details that we're finding out. However, the United States, as your previous guest mentioned, has a responsibility to put our national interests first. And what that means in the area of the Middle East is a very complex policy. We're dealing with a region of the world that's rife with bad guys, various interests, and especially our policy towards Iran. We have to continue to keep not just our economic interests in mind, but also our national security interests in mind. So I don't know that this event will make for a full reshaping of our policy in the Middle East. It's certainly concerning and certainly something we can condemn, but I don't know that it will result in a fruit basket turnover.
Brian Westbury, looking at this and the impact it's going to have, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Neil, it's hard for me to imagine that this issue with Saudi Arabia is going to change the course of the U.S. economy in any major way. No doubt in the Middle East and if you look at global arrangements that we have with the Saudis and in the Middle East, there are going to be changes. But for the economy as a whole, we're strong. Profits are booming. The job market is strong. And I think the U.S. stock market is going to be fine.
So you don't see this as much more than, I don't want to minimize it. People always listen and say, oh, well, you can tell this is a financial show, which it is. But this is not going to be a big disruption to your strategy, to other investors' strategy, right?
No, and I want to back up just a second. In the United States, we've cut our corporate tax rates. We're pushing up tariffs and trying to bring tariffs down around the world. We're producing more oil than we've ever produced. And all of this takes away a subsidy that we have provided the rest of the world. And this is one of the reasons why there's a lot of unrest around the world. China's slowing down. Saudi Arabia has to change. And so the United States is 25% of the world GDP. And we've just changed the rules of the game in a major way. And I think a lot of the issues that we see around the world today are because of how we've changed things. And so the world's trying to figure out now how to deal with what we're doing. And I think cutting corporate tax rates and putting up tariffs is forcing other countries to change. And that's why there's this turmoil out there.
Assuming that it's not going to be a financial impact at all, Hadley, I'm wondering 2.5 weeks out whether it will have any midterm impact. What do you think?
I think it's another opportunity for President Trump to demonstrate, his America First policy on the world scene. Brian mentioned energy and how important it is that we do have energy abundance here at home. This brings that issue back into play, back into voters' minds. But it's also important to remember that energy abundance in the United States isn't just so that we can have more affordable energy in our homes and in our cars, but it's so that when it comes to geopolitics around the world, that we do have more power when we're looking across the table at nations that can be bad actors, that treat their own citizens badly, that treat women badly. So it's important for American men and women to consider all these factors when they head to the polls.
Guys, I want to thank you both. By the way, we're getting some news in. Maybe, for all I know, these two fine folks are running out and getting their tickets. But the Mega Millions